Welcome back. And I invite you to join me by closing the eyes, having a deep breath in through the nose, and imagine filling up from the seat all the way to the crown of the head. Imagine getting a little taller, creating a little space between each vertebrae. And on the exhale, imagine softening from the very top of the head all the way back down the body to the seat. And continue to breathe in and out through the nose, slow and steady, feeling that gentle rise and fall of breath in the body. Feeling that sensation, noticing the quality of the breath. Have one more deep breath in, fill all the way up. Feel free to open the eyes. On the exhale, let the shoulders melt down away from the ears, settle into your neutral spine, and we'll get started with a gentle warm-up. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in. I'm going to float the arms up and out, left fingertips to the left, right fingertips to the right. Dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, making sure the hands stay in line with the shoulders. And imagine pressing down into stacks of books or blocks. Pressing the crown of the head up. Imagine lengthening from the midpoint out. Big breath in. On the exhale, bring the thumb and the pinky in towards each other. Spread the middle 3 fingers out wide. On the next breath in, rotate both hands up. Feeling that rotation all the way into the shoulder. Exhale, rotate back. Inhaling up, exhaling back, inhaling up, and exhaling back. Inhaling up, reach those arms up. Maybe we look up, drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale, spin the palms away from each other, bring the hands back out in line with the shoulders. Maybe we tuck the chin towards the chest, starting to warm up the neck a little. Inhaling up. Exhaling, open. One more, inhaling up. Exhaling, open. Inhaling up. This time on the exhale, we're going to come into a seated twist to the left. So the left hand will come down to the floor. The right arm comes across the body. On the inhale, imagine getting taller. On the exhale, maybe we look back over that left shoulder. One more time, bringing the stretch up the neck. And soften or settle in. Specifically, try to soften in the low back behind the belly button. Maybe we even bend that back left elbow to get a little more deep into this twist. Inhale, bring that upper body forward. Bring those arms back up. Look up. Exhale, open. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Reach out long. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Inhale up, and this time we'll come into our seated twist to the right. As we exhale, right hand down, left hand across the body. Sit up tall with the breath in, and then kind of soften or sink in. Maybe look back over the right shoulder on the exhale. Inhaling back to center, shoulders roll down away from the ears. With the right leg in front, I'm going to bring the hands inside of the knees onto the thighs, turning the palms out. I'm going to start pressing the hands into the legs. Imagine creating a space in between each vertebrae as we press some length into the upper body. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to lean to the left. You can leave that hand where it is. You can bring the left elbow to the leg, the hand to the floor. If you prefer, you can even grab a block and bring it under the left arm. Gently pressing into that right side. Imagine really grounding down in that right hip, right leg, and then lengthening up and out from there. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to look back over the left shoulder to bring that stretch up the right side of the neck. Soften in the low back, soften in the low belly. On the next breath in, bring the face forward. I'm going to take that left hand back to the left leg. Draw the heart space forward, and as we exhale, round back. Think about seated cat-cows. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. You can take these as big or as small or as quickly or slowly as you'd like. If you find a spot that feels like a good stretch, get creative, kind of explore there. There's no wrong way to do this. Whenever you feel ready, come on back to center. And we'll switch the cross on the legs, taking the left leg in front. If you used a block on the left side, you might want to go ahead and get it set up on the right. I'm going to bring the hands inside of the knees, fingers turned away from the body, pressing into the hands, start lengthening the spine, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to lean to the right. I might leave that hand right there. I might bring the right elbow to the leg, the hand to the floor, or maybe even the arm onto a block. I'm gently pressing into that left side, getting heavy on the left, stretching up and out through the crown of the head, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to look back over the right shoulder, bringing the stretch all the way up the left side of the neck. Continue gently pressing into that left side, soften in the low back and low belly. On the next breath in, bring the face forward. I'm going to take that right hand back to the leg, draw the heart space forward and to the left. Exhale, rounding back. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. And whenever you're ready, we'll come back to center. I'm going to uncross the legs and take the feet out into a butterfly position. You can have the heels pretty close in towards the hips to stretch the inner thighs more deeply. You can press the feet a little further away to kind of get into the back side of the legs, back side of the hips, maybe low back a little more. I'm going to press the feet together. I'm going to let the knees stay heavy. I'm going to bring the hands to hold somewhere, the feet, the shins, under the knees, and I'm going to find my neutral spine. So for me, I feel that I'm rolling the shoulders down away from the ears. I'm checking in with the low back. I feel supported and long. Big breath in, and on the exhale, imagine keeping the spine straight and hinging from the hips by maybe just bending the elbows. You can also take a strap under the outside edge of the feet here and keep the elbows bent by your sides, and that might help keep the spinal alignment. Imagine lengthening up through the crown of the head. Keep the back of the neck neutral so we're not cranking up or down here. With every inhale, imagine lengthening forward. With every exhale, imagine softening down. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and settle in. It might feel good to gently rock side to side here. You'll feel a stretch on the back opposite of the direction you're leaning. If you feel any instability in the hips, you might choose to stay still instead. Big breath in, and on the exhale, gently come on back up. If you have the feet pretty close into the hips, we're going to widen that diamond shape in the legs by pressing the feet forward a little bit. I'm going to sit up tall, take the left hand to the left hip. I'm going to take the right hand to the left leg. I'm gently pressing the left leg down to kind of counterbalance here. I'm going to sit up tall. I'm already starting to feel a bit of a stretch on that right arm. Big breath in on the exhale, right ear to right shoulder, and lean gently to the right. And then I'm going to press that left shoulder and left elbow down and away. I'm looking for a stretch on the left side of the neck and also in the right arm. Left elbow, left shoulder, press down and to the left. Inhaling back up, and I'm going to switch sides, the right hand to right hip, left hand comes to the right shin. Sit up tall. I'm starting to press that right leg down to keep myself kind of balanced here. Big breath in, exhale, left ear to left shoulder, lean to the left, press that right shoulder, right elbow, out and to the right. I'm looking for a stretch on the right side of the neck, down towards the shoulder and up the left arm. Inhaling back up, beautiful. I'm going to take the hands to the knees and I'm going to close the knees. I'm going to take the arms with the wrist neutral and just kind of cupping the fingers around the front of the knees. Sit up tall, neutral spine, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to round the spine. I'm going to drop the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the chin towards the chest, and imagine that belly button drawing back towards the spine. Big stretch between the shoulders and top to bottom on the spine. When you breathe in, imagine expanding or kind of inflating a balloon between the shoulder blades on the back. On the inhale, gently sitting up. I'm going to take the palms to the floor with the fingers facing behind. I'm going to walk the hands mat width and pretty far back. Spread those fingers wide. If I'm rounding between the shoulders or kind of hyperextending the elbows, I'm going to press into the hands to lift. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to press gently the top side of the body up. You can look straight forward, you can look up. Be really careful, please, not to let the neck drop back. Big stretch between the shoulders, on the shoulders, across the heart space. On the breath in, expand and stretch from the belly all the way up to the collarbones. Big breath in. And exhale, find your neutral spine. I'm going to come onto knuckles with the thumbs facing towards the hips. I'm going to walk the hands in and in. So I'm not mat width and I'm a little closer to the shoulders. And then I'm going to scooch the feet out. So the feet are now mat width. Pressing into the hands, I'm going to lift the heart space, roll the shoulders back and down, keeping the feet wide, big breath in, and on the exhale, both knees are going to come down to the left. Because I have that wide stance, the left heel is kind of close to the right knee. And just let that right hip, right knee come down. If we're rounding between the shoulders, press into the hands, lifting the heart space. And you might try bending the right elbow to square up the shoulders towards the front edge of the mat. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, both knees down to the right. Again, we're going to let the left hip, left knee get heavy. If we're kind of collapsed in the shoulders or across the heart space, I'm going to press into the knuckles, lift the heart space, and I might try bending the left elbow on this side to square up the shoulders towards that front edge of the mat. Inhaling back to center. Exhale to the left. I'm going to lift the right hand. I'm going to bring the left palm to the floor with the fingers facing behind. And then I'm going to reach that right hand, same direction as the left. Both hands are pointing in the same direction. Really get soft in the low back and the low belly. Imagine that we're kind of wringing out a towel, grounding down through that right knee. Big twist all the way up through the crown of the head, gazing in the direction that both hands are pointing. If that right shoulder is high, roll it down away from the ear. Soft in the belly, deep twist in the low back. Inhaling forward. I'm going to bring the feet to the floor, knees back up. I'm going to take that right hand to the floor with the palm facing behind me. Both knees are going to come down to the right with that wide stance. And I'm going to bring the left arm to follow. Roll the left shoulder away from the ear. Look past the fingertips. Soft in the low back, low belly. Grounding down through that left knee. Lengthen up. Inhaling back to center. I can come up off of the hands. You can lay the knees down to whichever side you like, and we're going to come over into a hero's pose. Feel free to bring a blanket under the shins, between the thighs and the calves. You can sit on a block, whatever's working for you today. I'm going to press the inseam of the legs together so I am stable and solid in the lower body. I'm going to bring the hands down to the floor, roll the shoulders back and down. I'm going to take the right hand either between the thigh and the calf or under the right shin, depending on your proportions. The left hand can kind of just relax. It can rest on the lap, hang, hand on the hip, whatever you like. Big breath in, sit up nice and tall. I'm already starting to get a little bit of a stretch on that right arm. On the exhale, left ear to left shoulder. I'm looking for a stretch on the right side of the neck and down the right arm. Inhaling back to center, release that right hand and feel free to switch. I'm going to bring the left hand either between the thigh and the calf or maybe even under the shin. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in, exhale, right ear to right shoulder. I'm looking for a stretch on the left side from the ear down towards the wrist. And whenever you're ready, come on back to center and release. I'm going to take the hands forward, have a big breath in, and exhale. Walk the hands over to the left, left hand down, right arm comes up for the breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to press into that right side of the body as I reach left. Roll that right shoulder back. I'm looking for a big stretch on the right side. Big breath in, exhale forward. Right hand down, inhale, left arm up. On the exhale, I'm going to press into that left side, looking for a stretch from the ground to the fingers. Left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Big breath in, exhale forward. Inhale up, exhale, press into your stretch. Big breath in, exhale forward. Right hand down, left arm up. Exhale, press to the left as we reach to the right. Big breath in, exhale forward. Last one, left hand down, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, press. Just only one cycle of breath here on this side. Exhale forward. Right hand down, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, press to the left, reach to the right. Big breath in. Exhale those hands forward. I'm going to walk the hands in, roll the shoulders down away from the ears. I'm tucking the tailbone forward to keep a neutral low back. Float the arms up and out, roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Big breath in. On the exhale, I press the legs together and I bring the thumbs towards my collarbones. We want to keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to take the left elbow back and the right elbow forward, looking over that left side. Slow and controlled. We're trying to connect the brain to the obliques. Inhale back to center. Exhale right. Center. Shoulders down, elbows in line. Exhale left. Center. Right. Pressing the legs together. Center. Left. Continue to move with your breath. Inhaling to center, exhaling to a side. Inhale, center, and exhale, release. I'm going to shake it out a little bit. Bring the hands to the floor and come over into a tabletop. Hands are under the shoulders, fingers spread wide, knees are under the hips. If I'm letting the spine kind of hang towards the floor, I'm going to press into the hands to lift the heart space and tuck the tailbone forward just enough to take that little dip out of the low back. Gripping fingertips into the floor, always pushing weight forward out of the wrists. Use the fingertips, the base knuckles, the middle knuckles. You can press the tops of the feet into the floor to stretch the ankles, or you can curl the toes to stretch the soles of the feet if that feels better for you. Feel free to grab padding under the knees or something under the wrists if you'd like. And an alternative here, if the wrists are feeling a little sensitive today, You can come onto blocks on their medium height as long as the elbows stay underneath the shoulders and the shoulders stay supported. You'll still press into the elbows to lift, tailbone tucked forward, shoulders are still pretty much in line with the hips. So I wanted you guys to have a couple of options there, but find something that's feeling good for you today. Press into the hands, tuck the tailbone forward, press the crown of the head forward and the tailbone back like someone was gently tugging on both ends of the spine. And we'll have just a breath or two here. Once again, connecting the brain to the core. As we tuck that tailbone forward and lengthen, we should feel the lower abdominals come on to support the low back. Big breath in, and on the exhale, crown of the head faces the floor, press into the hands, puff up the space between the shoulders, scoop that tailbone forward. Inhale, draw the shoulders forward, press into the hands, lifting the heart space, look up, pointing that chin up, tailbone back rather than up, stretching the belly all the way to the chin. Exhale, rounding down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Coming back to neutral. I'm going to curl the toes if they're not already curled. Press into the hands, tuck the tailbone forward. I'm going to keep the crown of the head pressing straight forward, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to hover the knees off of the floor. You can keep the spine straight. You can scoop the tailbone forward. You can even shift those knees forward. Shifting the knees forward will give more work to the quads. Scooping the tailbone forward should make sure that we're not dumping weight into the low back or compressing the back. Breathe here. Big breath in. On the exhale, set those knees down. I'm going to walk the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch. I'm going to send the hips down onto the heels and walk those hands in. I'm going to take the knuckles to the floor behind me with the thumbs pointing towards the hips. I'm going to press into the hands, lifting the heart space, roll the shoulders back and down, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. I'm pressing the shins into the floor to lift. I'm pressing the knuckles in the floor to lift. I can look forward or up. We will not let the head drop back. Baby camel, and breathe here. Big breath in. Exhale, release. I'm going to come off of the hands. I'm going to bring the palms back down to the floor, or I'm going to bring my elbows back down to the blocks. I'll demo with blocks on this one for you guys. If you have the elbows on the blocks, you can reach the hands straight forward. You can let the fingers dangle, or you can interlace the hands, your choice. I'm going to press into the elbows, lifting the heart space, tuck the tailbone forward, taking any kind of little dip out of the low back. I'm going to curl the toes, big breath in. Press the crown of the head straight forward, and on the exhale, hover the knees. Make sure that the spine is flat or that we're tucking the tailbone forward. You can have the knees under the hips, or you can kind of roll onto the very tiptoes to bring the knees forward a little more. Your choice, and breathe here. Big breath in. Exhale, release. I'm going to walk the knees wide, uncurl the toes, bring the big toes to touch, send the hips down onto the heels. Another modification for a baby camel is to take blocks onto their lowest height underneath the hands. It gives us a little more height, which sometimes is helpful. 2 knuckles on the blocks with the thumbs down. I'm going to start to press into the hands, rolling the shoulders back and down. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. I'm pressing the shins down to press the hips up and forward, and I'm pressing into the hands to lift the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back and down. You can look forward, you can look slightly up. We're not going to let the head drop back. Baby camel, breathe here. Big breath in. Exhale, slowly lower down. I'm going to bring my hands down to the mat. I'm going to walk those knees back in. Spreading those fingers wide, hands are under the shoulders. I'm going to bring the knees under the hips. Press into the hands, tuck the tailbone forward, toes are curled, big breath in. And on the exhale, hover those knees. Rounding the spine, drawing the knees forward if you'd like. Press the crown of the head straight forward. Turbo table, just a couple more breaths here. Keep those knees hip width. One more breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to float the hips up and the heels back and down. Coming into a down dog. If your knees are bent, that is fine. We're just not actively holding the heels up. Let the heels get heavy. If they come down, that's fine. If they don't, that is also fine. I'm going to spend a few breaths here. Maybe shifting side to side. Maybe bending one knee more deeply and then the other. I might lift both heels and press down. Spreading the fingers wide, really lifting out of the shoulders, pressing the belly towards the thighs, whether the legs are straight or bent. When you're ready, I'm going to lift both heels, bend the knees, almost like we're in our turbo table, but I have the hips pressing back and I'm long from the palms to the hips. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to step the feet forward. Coming into a forward fold. Feet are about hip width. You can have the knees real bent here. Take the backs of the hands to the floor. You can have the legs a little straighter. Maybe the fingertips are on the floor. Roll the shoulders a few times. Let the head and neck get heavy. Maybe it feels good to kind of shift side to side, or again, bend one knee and then the other. When you're ready, come back to center. Make sure there's at least a micro bend in the knees and the knees are not locked out. I'm going to take the backs of the hands to the floor, keeping the knees bent, rounding the shoulders, big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to slowly roll up to standing. Shoulders, neck, and head are the last pieces to come up. And we meet in Tadasana. The feet are hip width apart. I'm going to look down at the toes. I'm going to spread the toes wide, lift them, and press them down into the floor. If my balance is feeling okay, I'm going to shift forward, lift the heels, and set them back down. And I'm looking for equal weight, front to back, left to right. Moving up, I have at least a small bend in the knees. They are not locked out. I'm going to scoop the tailbone forward, lengthening the low back, turning on the core to support the upper body. Roll the shoulders down, let the hands relax, and imagine there's a little string attached to the very crown of the head. Someone gives a little tug, we stand up just a little taller, almost like lifting from the feet. If you're feeling pretty stable, you can close the eyes. When you're ready, inhale those arms up. And exhale the hands to heart center. Tailbone is tucked slightly forward, shoulders are heavy. Big breath in, I'm going to bend the right knee, and I'm trying not to press the hips to the left. I want to keep my Tadasana alignment. So I'm bending the right knee, the right heel comes up. I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see it again from here. Tailbone is tucked forward. I've shifted a little more weight into that left side, trying to keep left shoulder over left hip, over left knee, over left ankle. I might come up onto the big toe. I might try lifting that right knee in line with the right hip. You can point or flex, whatever feels best for you. Keep that tailbone scooped forward, and we have at least a small bend, a micro bend in that standing left leg. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to extend that right heel forward. You might be nice and low. You might be a little higher. As long as the tailbone is tucked forward, flexing that right foot, toe and knees point up. You can bend that left knee as much as you need, and we lift that right heel. Imagine pressing that right foot forward. One more big breath in. And on the exhale, keeping that right foot flexed, I'm going to send it back and back. Right foot is flexed, so the toes and the knee are pointing down. I'm going to bring maybe the hands back to heart center. You can keep a big or a little bend in that left knee. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Imagine pressing that right foot back like you were going to touch the wall behind you. If you'd prefer to bring the arms back, reaching towards that back right foot, palms facing down, you can. One more breath here. Bending that front left knee. We're going to start to set that right foot down, and we're going to find a warrior stance in the legs. You can scooch the left leg forward or the right leg back, or both. Usually people will recommend lining up the heels or the front heel to the arch of the back foot, but it'll be a little bit different for everybody. What I would like is for you to be able to press out into the blade edge, that outside pinky toe edge of your back foot. Sit up nice and tall. On the exhale, I'm going to bend the left knee until the knee is over the ankle. If you find yourself in a position like this with the knee in front of the ankle, widen that front stance. We want the knee to be really well supported. Big breath in. On the exhale, scoop the tailbone forward. Sink into that front left leg. Inhale the arms up and out. Square up the shoulders over the hips and forward. Breathe here, pressing into the outside edge of that back foot, pressing into the front left foot, left knee open, hips open. Inhale the arms up. Exhale back open. I'm going to reach that left hand forward, 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 forward. Bring the left elbow to the left knee, and that right arm comes up and over. You might sink a little lower into that front left knee. Make sure the knee stays over the ankle. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. I'm still actively pressing into that back right leg. From warrior two to extended side angle. If you'd really like to challenge the obliques, one more breath in. And on the exhale, keeping this right side still, lift your left arm. Inhale, press into that front left leg, come up. Exhale, turn the left toes forward. Hinge at the hips, find a forward fold. You can heel toe the feet out wider here. The wider your feet, the more you're getting into the hips, the closer the feet are together, the more you'll have a stretch on the back of the legs. As long as the toes are pointed forward or even slightly in, you can have the feet as wide as you want. If you'd like to use blocks here, you might take them under the hands or even under the elbows. Whenever you're ready, bring the palms to the floor. I'm going to heel toe those feet back in until they are about mat width with the heels in and the toes out. You can bend the knees as much as you want for the hands to be in contact with the floor. Have a big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to drop the hips. Bring the palms to heart center. Bring the elbows to the inner knees and the crown of the head straight up. Bring the heart towards the thumbs and the thumbs towards the heart. Malasana, Yogi squat. When you're ready, big breath in. Exhale, slowly rise up, keeping the shoulders and the top of the head facing up. And release the hands. I'm going to heel toe the feet back in until I am in my Tadasana alignment. And I might turn to face the front of the mat one more time. Roll the shoulders back and down, feet are hip width. Spread the toes, lift them up, lift the heels, settle your weight, front to back, left to right. Gentle bend in the knees. Tuck the tailbone forward, shoulders heavy, fingers heavy, crown of the head nice and tall. Feel free to close the eyes. When you're ready, inhale those arms up, reach up. Exhale the hands to heart center. This time I'm going to bend the left knee, shifting a little more weight into the right side, but I'm trying really hard not to shift the hips to the right and lose that Tadasana alignment. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, joints stacked for more stability. Slowly bend that left knee. Maybe the heel raises. I'm trying really hard to keep my joints stacked. When you're ready, you might try coming up onto the very tip of that big toe. Keep the tailbone tucked forward. You can keep as much of a bend in that standing right leg as you'd like. When you're ready, maybe we start to lift. You can point or flex. Big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to extend that left heel forward. Now I'm flexing the foot. The toes point up, the knee points up. You might be here. You might be here, as long as the tailbone is tucked forward, even if that means bending that standing right leg. Hold here, press that left foot forward. Try to keep the hips in line with each other. Keep that left hip in line with the right hip and not above. Big breath in. On the exhale, keeping that left foot flexed, I'm going to bring it down and back. I hinge forward, imagining crown of the head, shoulders, hips, and left heel are about in a line. I'm pressing that left foot back like I could press it into a wall behind me. Left toes and knee point down. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Crown of the head straight forward. If you'd prefer to bring the arms back for a more traditional airplane, you may. Hold here. One more big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to start to bend and step that foot down. I'm going to turn so I don't have my back to you. Right foot is forward, left leg is back. I'm pressing through the blade edge of that left foot and sinking into that front right knee, keeping the knee over the ankle. I'm pressing that knee back and again stacked over the ankle. Lifting up, big breath in, roll the shoulders back and down, press the hips forward, arms come out by your side. Arms come up in line with the shoulders. If you're leaned forward or leaned back or rounded forward, try to stack the shoulders over the hips and square up, hips and shoulders pointing in the same direction. Inhale the arms up. Exhale those hands back open. Reach those right fingertips forward, 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 forward. Bring the right elbow to the thigh. I like to take the right palm face up like I'm holding a dinner plate. It helps me press into that right elbow to lift in the right shoulder. Left arm comes up and over. We might sink a little lower into that right knee, actively pressing through that left foot. Roll the left shoulder back and down. Glutes are on, pressing the hips forward. Extended side angle. You're welcome to stay right here. If you'd like to challenge your obliques, keeping this left line exactly where it is. Big breath in, and on the exhale, right arm comes up. Breathe here. Inhale, straighten that front right leg, arms come up. Point that right foot, same direction as the left, and forward fold. Once again, you're welcome to heel toe those feet out wide to get more into the hips. You can walk them in to get more into the back of the legs. You can use blocks under the hands or under the elbows. I'm going to remove my blocks if I still got them. Bring the hands to the floor. I'm going to heel toe the feet in until the heels are about mat width and the toes point out. You can bend the knees as much as you need in order to reach the floor here. Big breath in, and on the exhale, Malasana Yogi squat. Bringing the elbows to the knees, bringing the heart space towards the thumbs. If you'd like, please feel free to use props. You can sit on a block here. You can sit in a chair or on a footstool. You can also bring a rolled up towel underneath the heels. If the heels want to lift, that'll give you a little more support, a little more stability. Imagine keeping the shoulders and the head pointing straight up. Big breath in. Exhale, slowly come on up. Release the hands. Heel toe the feet all the way back in, finding our Tadasana. Feet are hip width, gentle bend in the knees, tailbone is tucked forward, shoulders and hands heavy, crown of the head floats up. Feel free to close the eyes. I'm going to turn to face the front of the mat. Inhale those arms up. Exhale with a bend in the knees. I'm going to hinge forward. You can bend the knees a little. You can bend the knees a lot. You can take the backs of the hands towards the floor. You can take the fingertips towards the floor or the palms. It might feel good to kind of pedal out the legs here, which means we bend one knee while we straighten the other. Kind of like walking the dog in down dog, but from a forward fold. You'll get a really deep stretch on the back of the straight leg. Or it might feel good to keep both knees bent and maybe cross hands to opposite biceps, taking a ragdoll here, shifting weight left to right, not twisting in the knees. Bringing the hands to the floor, bend the knees as much as you need in order to do that. I'm going to walk the feet back, finding my down dog, pressing into the hands, pressing out of the shoulders, pressing the belly back towards the thighs. You can have the knees very bent. You can have them pretty straight. One more time, I'm going to shift around here, maybe leaning to one side or the other, maybe lifting a heel, maybe lifting both. And coming back to stillness. On the breath in, lift the heels, shift forward, bend the knees, hover the knees off of the mat. We meet in tabletop, pressing into the hands, tuck that tailbone forward. Breathe here. We meet in turbo table. Breathe here. Closing out this series the same way we entered. Big breath in. Exhale, let those knees come down. Walk the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch, send the hips down onto the heels. If you've got blocks, I'm going to take blocks onto their medium height, walk them mat width and forward. to pull the upper body into a nice long stretch, staying active in the hands, letting the forehead, the nose melt towards the floor, letting the heart space open between the arms. If you do not have blocks today, you can come up onto fingertips, walk the hands wide and crawl those fingers forward. Heart space melts, nose towards mat. Nice long stretch in the upper body. Hips stay heavy. One more breath in here. On the exhale, let the elbows and the forearms come down. You can leave the palms reaching forward. You can stack palms or fists under the head. We will find a child's pose of choice. When you're ready, gently lift that forehead. I'm going to walk the hands back in. I'm going to walk both hands over to the left. Left hand on the bottom, right hand on top. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to reach those arms away from the knees. Imagine laying the upper body down inside of that left leg, keeping the heart space square to the floor. Get heavy on that right side. Breathe into, expand, lean into that right side. Keep the right hip heavy. You can flare the elbows and let the head come between the arms, or you can rest the head on the arms, whatever feels best for you today. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to take a little twist open to the left by dropping that right armpit or shoulder down, left armpit or shoulder up, like I'm looking under the left bicep. Keeping the hands grounded. Inhaling back to center, unlock those hands, walk them back in towards the body and to center. Getting ready to come onto the second side. I'm going to take the right hand onto the ground, left hand on top. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm just going to reach those arms out away from the body to the right. Imagine laying the upper body down inside of that right leg. Keep the heart space, the chest square to the mat to start. Get heavy on that left side, left shoulder. Maybe you rest your forehead on the arms. Maybe you come in between the arms. And breathe here. Big breath in. On the exhale, we're going to take a twist open to the right. Left armpit or shoulder down, right armpit or shoulder up, like you're trying to look under the right bicep. Keep the hands grounded. Big breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Unlock the hands. Walk them in. And here we go. I'm going to come back into tabletop. Walk those knees back in. I'm going to take the knees over to one side. Come into a seat and bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. I'm going to take a block or a rolled up towel or a throw pillow or a blanket, and I'm going to put it between the knees. The feet are about hip width. I'm going to squeeze the block to stabilize the lower body. I want to be really careful that I'm not moving the knees and the hips opposite from the upper body. So squeezing the block helps kind of stabilize this inner line. I'm going to take the hands to the front of the knees. Big breath in, finding my neutral spine. And on the exhale, being careful not to either round or arch the low back, I'm going to tip back. Imagine leaning back, keeping the spine totally straight. We should feel the abdominal wall in the front come on to start to support the weight of the upper body. You can spread the toes wide and kind of imagine gripping the toes into the floor. We're pressing in on the block like we want to crush a can between the knees. You might play with lifting one hand or the other, or both. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to bring the hands together. I'm going to interlace the fingers except for the index fingers, which will point forward. Squeeze the block. Big breath in. Exhale, point to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Center. Left. Squeezing the block, center, right. Continue to move with your breath. Inhaling center, exhaling to a side. At any point, if you come out of alignment in the spine, you can come back to hands on the knees. Inhale, center. Take those hands back down to the knees. I'm going to sit up, remove the block. I'm going to walk the knees wide and roll forward. Whenever you're ready, slowly sit back up. Walk those knees back in. I'm going to take the block back between the knees. Spread the toes wide, grip the feet into the floor. I'm going to take my hands to the front of the knees, sit up tall. Big breath in, neutral spine. On the exhale, I'm going to start to tip back, squeezing the block, keeping the spine long. I might play with lifting the hands, one hand at a time, or both hands. You can reach down to make this a little more accessible. You can reach up to make this a little more challenging, as long as you don't lose your posture. Big breath in. Lift the heels by pointing the toes and start to walk or drag those heels in. Pressing the belly towards the thighs and the thighs towards the belly. Still squeezing the block. One more breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to lift the feet. I'm going to start to extend the feet. I'm going to start to slowly roll back. The heels will stay off the ground. The head, neck, and shoulders will stay off the ground. Reach the hands towards the feet. Low boat. Big breath in. Exhale, release. You can separate the knees, you can let the block fall down to the floor, take those hands, palms up, and have a rest. However you'd like to, I'm going to move that block out of my way. I'm going to bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. I'm going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh, keeping the right foot flexed. I'll take either a strap to the front of the left shin, or you can interlace your hands behind the left thigh or on the front of the left shin. Big breath in, and on the exhale, press the head, neck, and shoulders towards the mat, keeping the right foot flexed. Draw the legs towards the belly. We're looking for a stretch on the outside of the right leg from the hip towards the knee. Let the belly get soft, let the lower back get heavy. One more breath in. On the exhale, release. Slide the right knee over the left knee. Bring those arms out into a T, palms down in line with the shoulders. Big breath in. And on the exhale, both knees fall to the left while I keep that right shoulder grounded on the mat. Option to modify, if you'd like to take a pillow, a bolster, or a block under the legs and take some of the weight of the legs out of the lower back, letting that top right hip get heavy. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to bring the left foot to the floor, hips up, uncross those knees. Left ankle to right thigh, strap across the front of the right shin, or interlace the hands behind the right thigh, or on the front of the right shin. Big breath in on the exhale, elbows, shoulders, head, press down towards the mat, draw the legs towards the belly. We're looking for a deep stretch on the outside of the left leg from the hip towards the knee. Big breath in. Exhale, release. I'm going to cross the left knee over the right, bring the arms out into a T shape. If you used a block on that left side, you might want to move it over to the right. Big breath in, and on the exhale, both knees fall down to the right, leaving that left shoulder heavy. I'm being careful not to roll up, leave that left shoulder heavy. And you can use a block under the inside of that left calf or under the right thigh, giving some support, taking some of the weight of the legs out of that low back. You'll still get a really deep twist, just maybe with a little less strain or like pull on the low back. Big breath in. And exhale, bring those hips back down to the floor, knees back up. I'm gonna uncross the legs. I'm gonna lift the feet off the floor, bringing the knees towards the belly. I'm gonna take the hands to the front of the knees. I'm gonna give a gentle squeeze, leaving the head, neck, and shoulders on the mat. I might kind of rock left and right, massaging out the back side of the hips a little bit. Coming back to center. Big breath in on the exhale. I'm going to tuck the knees towards the nose and the nose towards the knees, making the tiniest little shape I can. One more big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to slowly open up, taking up as much room as I'd like and settling into a Shavasana of choice. You can just spread out wide. You can take the feet to the floor with the knees bent. If you have props, you're welcome to take a bolster under the backs of the knees. You could take a pillow under the head, neck, or shoulders. But start to settle in. I invite you to close the eyes. Have a deep breath in and imagine filling up from the soles of the feet all the way to the crown of the head. Expanding, getting a little longer. And on the exhale, we scan back down the body, softening, sinking into that newfound space, getting just a little heavier. On the forehead, at the corners of the eyes, at the jaw, the shoulders, backs of the hands and the fingers, the hips, the knees, and the feet. Keeping your eyes closed, gently start to bring awareness back to your breath. As you breathe in and out through the nose, just feel that rise and fall of breath in the body. And if you'd like, you might find the hands and wiggle the fingers. Or find the feet and start to move the toes. You might make fists and hinge at the wrists, stretching the backs of the hands, or bend at the elbows and draw some circles. You might start to point and flex the ankles, or reach the arms out overhead for a big full body stretch, or anything else that feels good. Whenever you feel ready, gently bend the knees, bringing the feet to the floor, and roll onto your right side, finding just another moment of pause. And whenever you're ready, slowly make your way back into some kind of seated position. Sitting up tall, neutral spine, let the shoulders get heavy. Thank you so much for making time for yourselves today, for showing up on your mat, and for allowing me to guide you in our practice.